Tonight we ask, what's the opposition NDC's clear-cut position on the free SHS program, to cancel or not to cancel, as former President Mahama and current President Nana Akufo-Addo has been going head-to-head on this particular matter. This is perhaps our most controversial social program in the country. This and other important issues ranging from the unending PDS tale and the Rosewood saga shall dominate UPfront today. After the break, I'll let you know my guests. You're welcome back. This is UPfront. My name is Raymond Dakwa. On the show today, the crux of our conversation is to speak to two people from the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. And again, they are also from perhaps the most important committee to this conversation, the Education Committee. I'm lucky and I'm privileged to have had here in the studio the chairman of the particular committee, the Honorable William Ejapon. Mostly, I mean, your surname, the last one. Kwetu, yes, is actually here with us. Also with us here is the Honorable Dr. Clement Apaak. And you're welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I hope you are doing honorable.
Good, by God's grace.
I mean, of course, there's a lot of reshuffle in Parliament too. We didn't know that there's been changes in the Parliament, because you've heard it like other committees before this one.
No, I would say I've been with about 4
different committees. Okay,
but
that's
I've heard
interesting.
Only 2 committees.
That's interesting.
The local government committee.
The local government committee, then this particular one. Yes. The deputy ranking on in that particular committee is also the Honorable Clement Apaak. Yeah. I'll come to you, Honorable Ejapon, but give me a second, because the man very close to me here has been embarking on other important issues too in the Republic. Not long ago, you were called on the special prosecutor to deal with some people related to Rosewood, and I do recall that since 2004, we've had close to 4 different bans, lifting of bans, and it is a big issue in this country. We all know what happened to Aisha Wan's sister, as we call her, Helena Wan. She jumped bail. We didn't know how to track her, and all of the differences with that. Why do you think that the people, including those at the Forestry Commission, those you have named, ought to be held responsible, or the special prosecutor should take interest in this matter?
Very well, Raymond. Let me say good evening to you and good evening to viewers. And of course, to acknowledge the presence of my chairman. As you know, the way our structure in Ghanaian democracy works is that usually the majority chairs most of the committees, except a few, where to ensure a balance, the minority is the group that chairs that, including the Public Accounts Committee, of which I am also a member.
I see.
But on the Committee of Education, he is our chairman. As you said, you said he admitted earlier, he was also the chair of the
local government
before he came to education. I was also on Foreign Affairs and Public Accounts.
Okay.
And I was also moved, at least elevated from a floor member. So in my case, I had an elevation.
That's true.
Which is positive.
Okay.
Because that is what everyone expects.
Yes.
That at some point your effort will be recognized by your leadership. But you have asked a very profound question. And I think that the background that you have given is apt and it is accurate. The menace of illegal harvesting and export of rosewood didn't start today.
Yeah.
It is a matter that has been with us for some time. But the genesis has to do with the recognition that we had such an economically viable timber species. And that came to public attention and indeed the global market when the Bui Dam was being constructed. Now the law makes it very clear that even when there are economically viable trees in the catchment area of a major developmental project, in this case Bui Dam, or later on the Fofosu Solar Road, or perhaps even the establishment of a new settlement, then the Forestry Commission, the Commissioner for Forestry, has the discretion to issue permits for those economically viable trees to be harvested or salvaged within the catchment area of where this activity is supposed to be undertaken. So during the Kufuor era, permits were given for the salvaging of Rosewood in the catchment area of the Bui Dam.
Okay.
Very legitimate, proper, acceptable. When the Fufusu Solar Road was being done, same was done. But soon after, we were beginning to see that businessmen had become aware of the value, because this is a product that sells on the world market for up to between $15,000 and $20,000 per 20-foot container. So it's very lucrative. So they started, the poachers, so to speak, quote unquote, or the traffickers, started engaging in this illegally. And that was why occasioned the various bans that we have had. And as we speak now, this is the 5th ban. But you see the problem,
5th ban.
The 5th, yeah. And this is supposed to be the reinforced ban.
Yeah.
It has always been a ban on the harvesting and export.
Yeah.
But the reinforced ban per Asmachireme now includes the harvesting, transportation, of, you like, haulage and export. Ideally, this would indicate that the government has become aware of the magnitude of the challenge.
And it's working at it.
And it is working at it. But the evidence so far shows that in spite of all of this,
you are failing to recognize the good work this government is doing.
The practice is still ongoing.
Yes.
And I say so because he knows that on the floor of Parliament, I have been known to file questions about Rosewood. I did a statement on the floor of Parliament, which the Speaker deemed fit and worthy, who then referred it to the Committee on Lands and Forestry and tasked them to do a fact-finding mission and do a report, which they did. One of the key recommendations was the cessation of the issuance of permits, because it's the permit system that has created the conduit through which this happens. And what we have come to observe, as is indicated in the EIA report, is that permits are issued for the salvaging of Rosewood when indeed there are no logs to be salvaged. So it is usually one of two things. The traffickers and their assigns, whether Forestry Commission, as a report is indicating, persons in government,
investigative report,
MPP, party officials, they are given the permits. They either use those permits to go and log, or they sell those permits to other traffickers under the cover of salvaging. The truth is that there are no logs to be salvaged. The last time the minister
so the people who are supposed to go salvage are the ones who are basically going to do the logging and taking these trees from the place.
There's a whole scheme and a cabal, and as the report indicates, it is very institutionalized. Oh yes, yes. It is not.
There's an investigative report,
but the
done by
investigative report by the Environmental Investigating Agency, based in Washington D.C., which has done similar work in other countries. It is very detailed, and I'm not saying it. There's a video to follow it, and indeed they did.
Oh yes, they went to the place to
it is very detailed. But in any case, so the traffickers and their assigns sometimes pay persons to go and cut the trees, and then very quickly, because it's already a setup and a system, they then come and file a request for permits, indicating that they have become aware of some logs on the forest floor.
I see.
And the other aspect,
so they go and cut the thing,
and
come back and say that they should be the ones salvaging them.
Fantastical, because the minister himself stated on the floor of Parliament that the logs that were being, if you like, impounded and auctioned, because I had filed a question about the companies that had benefited from the auction and how many containers of rosewood had been confiscated. So he said the logs that were being cutted were logs that were on the forest floor going back to 3 to 4 years ago, when that was not the case. And we have evidence to show that as of when the minister had even held a press briefing to brief the nation about the reinforced ban, it was still happening.
At the time that he was making...
Oh yes, and even today it's still happening. You know, you mentioned the infamous case of Helen Wang, a notorious Chinese rosewood trader who was arrested in the northern region, in the Tamale area.
Bail,
and she went on bail, disappeared, to reappear after 30 days. And we had expected that the law would duly deal with her. And before we knew,
she left the country.
We heard that she was in China, which means that the system, the government, had failed to hold somebody accountable. And as I speak, since the inception of the reinforced ban, not even one person, not one company, not a mosaic of equipment, not a customs official, not a GRA official, not a forestry official has been held accountable.
Nobody.
Not one.
Maybe not known to you.
No, it has not happened because I would know. This is a matter that
you are not in the security institutions.
I have followed this matter.
No, I want to be clear.
Look,
because have you asked the security institutions about this?
But if a case goes to court and is being prosecuted,
no, but maybe it's not gone to court yet.
But
because what would have ordinarily happened that the forestry officers and co would have arrested people. They would have processed them. It takes some time to agree whether they are going to court in the first place. And we know all of this.
Don't hold brief for the forestry commission because the forestry commission is very central.
I'm just saying that from where you sit,
that is going
you
on.
can't make categorical statements when you're not the one in charge.
Well, the good news is that your program is viewed by, the power players in this country.
Very much so.
And indeed, if something is happening, I would like to know. But are you not surprised that
I've
Helen
not
Wong,
seen any reported case like
Helen
that?
Wong,
yes. Oh, okay. Her case really surprised many in this country.
Are you not also surprised that after that, there was an interception of 4 containers at Dowenya, where entities that you would expect to collaborate in the fight against this crime
were fighting
against each other about who had jurisdiction?
Yes, that was
GRA,
surprising actually.
IOCO, and indeed, Forestry Commission itself. What has happened to those containers? What has happened to those who were the owners of those containers or the companies? And I can replicate this over and over and over again. So when the EIA comes with this report and indicates very clearly that there is a system that has been set up to ensure that this goes on, then you cannot fault them because they, not the empirical, but the circumstantial evidence alone points to the fact that if there was no government collusion, if there was no complicity on the part of the Forestry Commission, Rosewood should not come all the way from a community in my constituency like Bachongsa to the ports and be exported to China. And in doing so, forestry officials are said by the report to issue fictitious documents and certificates to allow for this to happen. The traffickers even have the ability to tell you how they are going to get containers seized, auctioned to them, and the persons that will be paying along the route. Sometimes they
I'm allowing this because there's also evidence provided in the document. It's not like
no, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying
documentary evidence.
I'm not saying it.
No, but
I'm not saying it.
Okay, I get you. So I'll summarize. Yes, yes. Please make the point. Yes,
I will summarize very quickly, but just a part of the report, just to summarize it. It says that undercover investigators of the EIA, Environmental Investigating Agency, based in Washington, a very recognized reputable with a track record of doing this type of work across the globe, revealed that powerful Chinese and Ghanaian traffickers are still harvesting and shipping rosewood out of the country through the help of ruling party members and complicity at all levels of government. The investigation revealed that the New Patriotic Party, MPP, members and their competitors in government, quote, have established an institutionalized scheme fueled by bribes to mask the illegal harvest, transport, export, and the illegal licensing of timber. I'm not saying this. That is why I think that the time has come for the office of the special prosecutor. This is it. It is from the report. Doc,
so
we are both academics.
You have written a petition.
I am telling you.
You have written a petition.
My petition is based on the report.
No.
Yes, but give me a second.
It's based on some evidence.
This quote that he put out there, it's in the report. It's not in the report. The quotes he just gave me, it's in the report.
And I will happily give you the report.
It's in the report.
Yes. You see, you are making an allegation against somebody.
It is on the basis of the report.
You have not watched it. You have not watched that particular
Yes, of course, I don't have much interest in those areas. So
yes, I get you, but so that's why.
Watch it.
In fact,
I'm concerned about the allegation that he's making against some MPP members.
That's also specifically stated in the report.
I am not saying it. I am only making references to the special prosecutor to investigate the content of the report.
So let's wait for the special prosecutor to finish with his investigation.
Very well.
If the special prosecutor finishes with the investigation, then we can clearly say that yes, government is colluding in this trade. But now, for now, I don't think we should be doing that.
That sets up the special prosecutor's office.
Very well.
Details in section 79, specifically what corruption and corruption-related offenses that Martin Amidu and his officers are supposed to deal with. This particular petition, which specific provision do you think it comes under?
Well, as far as I know, and you have talked about Act 959,
Yes.
2017.
Yes.
If you look at the main object of establishing the Office of the Special Prosecutor, it says a specialized agency to investigate specific cases of corruption involving public officers.
Yes.
In this case, the report makes mention of a director.
Yes, an individual in this case.
Wildlife, right? So that is a public officer.
Yeah.
And political office holders, allegations have been made that permits are being issued to MPP members.
To MPP members?
Yes, that is
By
what.
who?
That is what the report
But
is
nobody
saying.
goes around wearing MPP.
Please, Doc, that is why I am only conveying.
The Honorable
Don't be
Chairman of the
defensive.
Education Committee,
I am
please give me a
only
second.
conveying
No,
what
I'm
the
concerned-
report
I'm
has
concerned
said.
about
I'm asking him to establish the basis
I
of this
am.
particular one.
Yes.
So I'm explaining.
So please let him
These
establish
are
that for me.
all-
I'll
these
come
are
to
all
it.
I am explaining.
Conjecture.
And political
That's what I'm
office
concerned
holders
about.
Yes.
in the performance of their functions, as well as individuals in the private sector implicated in the commission of corruption, and to prosecute these offenses.
Implicated.
Yes, offenses on the authority of the Attorney General.
Who has implicated who?
I am reading the object of the office of the Special Prosecutor.
Okay.
That is what it says.
I get you.
And so on that basis,
I get you.
and the content
I
that
get
has
you,
been
but,
provided in the report,
but you see,
I think he
recently,
has a jurisdiction.
recently the
to
man himself
investigate
has
this matter.
guided us on this particular role. He says the object really is broad, but there's a definition. That's why I asked you specifically under Section 79 of the Act that establishes the office. Specifically, which of the provisions is this particular quest for investigation coming under? That is what I'm asking you to go directly, so that we know where you really want this matter to be dealt with.
Well, this is my petition, and I have quoted the section that I think grants him the jurisdiction to handle this matter.
So which section is that?
That is what I'm saying. The very definition and the main object.
Yes.
It says public officials.
Yeah, I get you.
And the allusions in the report.
The report mentions public officials.
No.
Yeah. The report does that.
Okay. Now, the Honorable Ajapon,
Yeah.
I'll give you... Yes, Ajapon Kwetu. I'll give you a moment if you still want to comment on this matter. I'm minded that you might not have been serious with the authority on the matter. Yes. You might not have followed it. But if you have any commentary on this particular one, you can make it briefly.
My only comment is to say that we should be careful the way we mention or we make people look like corrupt people. He's mentioned a director here. He's mentioned some various organizations that serves
as per
yes.
But to be fair, the director is in the report.
That's it.
Yes, this report is not a report commissioned by any office in Ghana here. It is an international report, isn't it?
Does that take anything away from its credibility?
I wonder how and when they did this report. Is any such?
Is that material to the quest for a probe?
Yes, to me.
Because all that is basically done is that he's not pronouncing anybody guilty.
I know
he's saying that probe the matter. That's all that he's asking for.
Insistent.
Except there's something else.
He's insistent on the fact that licenses are being given by MPP officials.
As has been referenced.
As referenced by the report. That is what the report.
That is what the report says.
I'm being honest and straightforward, and I think that perhaps
in this case,
my chairman needs to
it is not.
A bit more.
Yes.
But I am not.
I'm saying that
making the allegations.
Yes.
He's saying that allegations have been made in the report. Please investigate and get to the bottom of the matter. That's basically what I understand to be.
So if you take it as an allegation, then I don't have any problem with
that. That is it.
Okay. All right.
If you conclude that
I have no basis.
Activity, you have no basis to do that.
I get you. Yes. I understand that.
Yes. So don't do that. Let's not do that.
Now, Doc, has the office received this particular petition?
Yes, it has. This is my copy.
Yeah, the stamp is there.
Okay.
And that's the copy.
Wonderful.
I mean, I don't want to reveal, but you have been my trainee from my days at the University of Ghana.
I understand
Radio University.
Yes.
And I was your hall tutor.
Yes.
Your D-block tutor. You know, I don't just beat about the bush.
I get you.
When I take up an issue, there is just cause.
I get you. The other question is whether they've gotten back to you on when they are likely to do some action on this.
Not yet.
But
I believe they will.
Okay.
I really believe that.
That's interesting to know. Yeah. So, I mean, I think we can move beyond this point now.
Right.
Now, let's look at education. Because in the last 48 hours, the President of the Republic of Ghana and his predecessor have had a conversation on perhaps the biggest and most controversial education policy recently. That is the free SHS program, according to the President who first spoke. Any attempt to bring back the former President John Dramani Mahama will lead to whose promise to cancel the free SHS. The former President responded that free SHS has come to stay. He will make it better, he will review it, but he will not cancel it. Now already, There's a video going around about a certain ways or TV or so that sort of suggests in its inclination that this is why the former president will cancel free SHS. And he talks about how much is involved in all of that. The Honorable Dr.Apaak, what is the unalloyed NDC stance on this particular policy of free SHS?
Well, Raymond, let me say thank you to you again, and to say that this is a very topical issue, largely because education is and would continue to be the most important thing that we can do.
Okay.
And as far as our quest to develop and to ensure that generations to follow us are able to improve on what we bequeath to them. Because we live in a very competitive global community, and the surest way for us to also be able to achieve our goals and objectives as a nation is through education. Indeed, we are both, in fact, all three of us are here by dint of the opportunity that we had.
That's true.
To obtain an education. I mean, I am only the second generation. My parents, both mother and father, were the first in their families to have obtained an education.
I see.
I am only second.
That's true.
And myself and my younger brother are both PhD holders. And that should tell you the value of education.
Yes, that's true.
So, government go, government come. Education will and shall continue to be very topical and principal. And that is why this debate
is important.
Has begun and continues and will continue until we reach a level where the outcomes that we seek, and as far as developing and implementing educational policies are concerned, our position has not changed. It has always been very simple. We were of the opinion that where we were, the challenges we had in terms of the availability of infrastructure, training the requisite teachers, and all of the other factors that we needed to ensure that teaching and learning will be effective, at least should be in place before we move to implement what is a constitutional requirement. Simply put, we had adopted the, if you like, the progressive approach.
Okay.
Our opponents on the other side had indicated that if they were given the mandate, they would go the full hog and wholesale. Be as it may, Ghanaians gave them the mandate, they came into power, and they started the implementation of the free senior high school policy. Quite clearly, we had always argued that they didn't think through. They did not do the necessary consultations, and that is why we were seeing the challenges that even still today, and he is the chairman, he would agree, still bedeviling the implementation of the free senior high school policy.
I get you. I hear you.
Now, there was nowhere, no time where the flag bearer of my party, the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, both as a candidate, both then as a president, and now as an opposition leader, has said that he would cancel the free senior high school policy. So most of us were miffed, indeed flabbergasted, shocked and surprised, if you like, in wonderment and amazement, when the president went to Big Boss and made a comment to the effect, and to paraphrase, that President Mahama would cancel the free senior high school policy if Ghanaians were to give him the mandate. He never said so. And so it was very necessary and proper. He said that given the challenges, and you know, matters to do with overcrowding, in terms of dormitories, in terms of dining halls, in terms of the availability of teachers and even teaching and learning material. And even the fact that we had to introduce the double track system, which is called by my constituents double trouble.
That's how the people
yes,
yeah.
Because when the students...
But is double track being implemented in your constituency?
Yes, it is.
Really? Which school is doing that?
For me, it's Senior High Agri-Technical School.
I see.
And the Kanjara secondary school as well.
I see.
Senior high school. You know, so when the students are home, they stay for an extended period of time. Parents are not too sure what to do with them. And where I come from, parents are poor. They don't have the capacity to pay for vacation classes anywhere between 200 and 500 Ghana cedis a month. So the wards engage in whatever activity that they deem fit. When they go to school, the issues of overcrowding, of all of that, So now people call it double trouble. Didn't have to be the case. And so these are the issues. So Mama has said, and in fact it was initially a suggestion, which certainly has been rebuffed by the current government and the current president. The former president had called on the current government to call a national stakeholders forum to bring parents, teachers, other players in the educational sector to come and jaw and look at the challenges facing the free senior high school policy implementation and to fashion the way forward in addressing those issues. That is what he said. He never said he will cancel it. And so what he did yesterday was to reinforce that position, that he has never been against the implementation of the free senior high school policy. He re-emphasized the fact that this was a policy that is mandated, and if you like, a product of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. So why would he want to cancel a policy that is one that is required by the Constitution?
So at no point in time, you are insisting.
If you have the evidence, and if Dr. Kwetu has the evidence,
I'm not a doctor
that,
yet. Anyway.
well, my chairman, my chairman of the education committee,
yes,
or your good self, if you have evidence to show,
okay,
that John Dramani Mahama has made a statement anywhere as purported by the president.
But he did say that a certain radio station somewhere.
Let me know.
No, I've seen the video that's been circulated. The video is from a certain Rosewood TV.
John Mahama said that he will cancel free senior high school.
No, you see, the problematic part of that video is that it has as a heading, this is why the NDC will cancel free SHS.
The title of the
video. And yet, when the man speaks, he makes no reference. It's as if he's adducing evidence, but not necessarily giving statement that says there was no word from his mouth that suggested that he will cancel it.
So if a TV station or a newspaper publishes a banner headline, and then they do the story, and it does not quote directly the subject of the story,
I get you.
Who do you believe? You are in the media.
I understand.
There are certain headlines,
so
and certain captions can be used.
But is that video? Have you seen the video? Is it from the NDC
or unconsciously?
Is it from the NDC?
I know my candidate.
Yes.
And I have challenged you.
Yes.
If you have any information, if you have a clip, an audio clip, where he has said that,
okay,
put it in the public domain.
Okay,
it's as simple as that.
Okay.
For a second, let me get to hear from you, the Honorable Ajapong Kwetu. It is clear in this particular case. It looks like the former president, he who is with you in Parliament, they are all clearly stating, we've never said we will cancel it. Why is the president insisting that the NDC is going to cancel this?
I know, you see, we all listen to the media very well. And we listen to our leaders very well, particularly when they are speaking.
Okay.
So the video that he just said, we have all seen it. The caption of the video indicates that former President John Mahama is saying that when he gets a chance, when he gets the opportunity to become the president of this country again, he will cancel it. And so,
forgive me, but was this the basis for the executive president of the Republic's claim that he will cancel it? Was it the basis for it?
I cannot put my finger to it. I cannot say so. But
is there any evidence anywhere available within the quarters of government that suggests that we can say clearly through a statement or the words of the former president that I will cancel it when I come into office?
But you see, the former president has been making a lot of comments about free SHS.
That's why I want a specific one.
No, I don't, not one that I know of.
You don't know anything like that? So you personally,
apart from the video
as chairman of the committee, cannot state categorically that you've heard him say that I'll cancel it.
But I've seen the video suggesting that former President Mahama says that
For a second, I asked my colleagues to actually put up that particular video because I explained how it's supposed to be. So production will put it up so that we put it in the context that people ought to see it in this case. But please proceed.
Yeah, so in 2012, when we were campaigning.
Please continue, yes.
The former President John Mahama said it wasn't possible to have free SHS implemented at that time. And that it was a constitutional provision that we should maybe work towards. But at that time, it was impossible for us to do that because there was no money. And we said, when given the power, we'll do it.
You'll do it, yeah.
Now, come
so
to
the NDC chose progressively free.
No, at that time, no. There was no word like progressively free.
Which year are you talking about?
2012.
In 2012?
Yes, in 2012.
Oh, of course. I mean,
yes.
progressively started around 2015.
It started in 2014.
Okay, yes.
2014,
yes.
2015.
Okay.
So it was in 2014 that he came to Parliament. During his State of the Nation address, he mentioned the fact that we are not going to do free SHS.
There we have gotten money.
Yes.
Okay, I hear you. Please proceed.
So in 2012, he said categorically that it wasn't possible to do free SHS in Ghana. And that for the primary level, the FQ was there, free compulsory basic education.
Because of how contentious who said what has become today, can you give me specifics on when he said this? Dates, events, possibly?
I don't remember, but it was in 2014 that he said that he was going to implement progressively free SHS.
Very well. Yeah.
And he came out with the figures, what was going to be free within the school bill.
Yeah.
You know, if we put everything together, it was just around 40 Ghana cedis.
As in government was only absorbing 14 Ghana cedis? Really?
Yes, at that time. I calculated everything.
There was 11 different fees that were eliminated, though.
Yes, out of the 16 or so.
Yes, if you put everything together, it was less than 25% of the total bill of students that he said he was going to make free. And even that, he couldn't do it. He couldn't implement it. He couldn't pay all through the years, 15, 16. He didn't pay it. And
you state it emphatically.
Yes, and I'm saying it emphatically. You see, at that time,
to provide documents.
Yes, I'll come to that.
At that time, remember, you know when he called me? When he called me, we were in the program in Gov't.
I remember.
You see, I don't have any documents before now.
I get your point.
And he pushed me to come here. So I'm driving from Gov't straight away to this place.
Yeah,
I have no problems with that.
Yes, if he had told me yesterday, I would have brought all these figures.
I'm not
because I know what I'm talking about.
I'm not disputing that.
Yes.
All that I wanted to know from you is which specific period you're talking about when you said that it was not paid, as in government did not fulfill its mandate in paying.
In the first year, 2013, he never made mention of any free education, free SHS. But in 2014, he did. And he captioned it progressively free.
Okay.
And we made noise in Parliament. So we wanted to know which portion of the total bill or which portion.
How free was the free?
How free was the free? And he came out with a certain figures. The headmasters at that time, to me, I went to various schools and
in your constituency?
Yes, in my constituency and other schools. Headmasters gave me the items on the bills that the government was to absorb. And if you put everything together, it wasn't up to 40 cities. And you have to pay this throughout the whole country, be it boarding schools and day schools. And you're saying because it was free, you took items that will also affect day students so that they could all benefit. I've forgotten the exact items. Some like, is it examination fee, stationery fee? There are some few items that they picked out of the bill.
Okay.
And was to pay that. And so the total bill reduced from about 580 Ghana cedis thereabout to a certain figure. And each term, you realize that the government wasn't paying, and some schools will even ask their students to come back and pay the remaining balance because the government failed to pay.
Okay.
And some schools were being sanctioned at that time. If you ask your student to come back and pay that bill, because the government has said that they're going to pay, the government was going to pay and didn't pay. If you ask your student to come and pay, those headmasters are sanctioned.
Permit me to allow you to hold on a second for me. The contentious video will be played in a second, and if it's ready, we can actually watch that particular video.
Because if you are spending most of your money on secondary education and less on tertiary and basic, then there's something wrong with your educational system. And so the government has budgeted 2 billion cedis for free SHS for this academic year. If you have 2 billion more to spend on education, will you spend all of it on free SHS so that even when people can afford to pay, you don't have to pay?
Okay, so that's the contentious video that the Honorable made reference to. That's also the video that's making rounds. And this is the claim for many within the governing NPP, which suggests that the former president, deep within his heart, is not for, in any way, the current free SHS program.
Well,
is this from the NDC?
Certainly not.
Is this from the NDC?
Is it from the office?
I'm asking you.
Is it from the office of the former president? You know,
I didn't see any indication.
You know he has an office.
Yes.
Good. So if it was from him, it would have
Is the
logo
Wazer
of his
TV
office.
related to the former president?
Not as far as I know.
Who are those behind the Wazer TV?
Not as far as I
But who
know.
was speaking? Isn't it himself?
Yes, but what he said is something that is common
To be
knowledge.
fair,
I mean,
all that he said could be debating the issues with the
it
PSHS.
is common knowledge.
But
everyone agrees.
Clearly, what is in contest is whether he has said he will cancel it.
The point is that
Oh, no, you
when
don't
he-
get that
when
point.
he says
I get
that
your point, but you see-
a lot of money is being spent on
Yes,
the program
yeah.
to the detriment of other sectors. That is something that has been acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
And we even know that the current Minister for Finance has said that he is capable of paying for his wars.
Yeah.
I mean, there are several other Ghanaians who have said,
Okay.
and I'm sure you saw the recent, I think, IEA document
Yeah.
suggesting and proposing alternative ways.
Some form of reviewing funding and all
These
that.
you are expected that as
So-
a vibrant country, there should be debate and a conversation about the best way forward.
So you are
And then he
insisting
said,
that there's no way the NDC
the man,
and that this
the
statement,
man
yes,
has said it.
yes,
I mean, John Mama himself has said it. It is public record that he would not cancel free senior
And that it has come
high
to stay.
school. Voila.
does it put
End
it to
of
rest
story.
for you?
So
Does it
matter.
put it to rest for you
That
that he has stated it categorically that was yesterday that he will not cancel it? Does it put it to rest for you?
no, to me, no.
You still don't believe it?
Yes, from the statement that we all just saw, you can infer so many things from it. He has put out a statement, and so you can make several inferences from it.
Okay, so to be fair, this video actually predates yesterday's statement. Is it not possible that even if he was of the opinion that he has changed his mind? Because his latest commentary on this matter is what he said yesterday.
But you see, that is after President Akufo-Addo has also made a statement in Bolga, and so President Akufo-Addo probably made a statement based on this video.
Well, if the president is going to make a statement based on a video, then we have a
But
challenge.
based on a video, based on the statement.
Well, but no, the president never said.
can be
the
everywhere.
former president
No, the
never
president
said,
can be everywhere.
He never said in this video that he's going to cancel.
Yeah.
So how did the current president
But
come to the conclusion?
if you say that you are spending more money at the free SHS level than this, and you have a problem, then it can.
But
it means so many
it's a
things.
real
the current
It means so
president
many
has
things.
admitted that we are spending money in
it
free
is
SHS.
a point.
Indeed, on the
Cannot deny
same
that.
platform,
Yes.
the education minister said we are using oil money, and we believe that even though it's huge chunk of money you are pumping into it, it's a fruitful use of the money.
Rightly so.
That is not
Yes.
in dispute. For
Yes.
how much you are spending, everybody knows that it's
Rightly
huge
so.
amount. That
Yes. I agree
1.4
with
billion.
But how
yes.
does that
I agree.
constitute
Yes.
a decision to cancel when you come into power? That's what I want to be clear in my mind on.
Severally. I mean, on several platforms, on several occasions, we have asked them, what do you mean by that review? If you say you review it.
Okay.
We have
you heard-
defined the
you-
review.
You haven't.
We have.
For the
When?
abundance of
On
doubt,
what platform?
give me a second. When you say review, specifically what do you mean?
What do you
if you
mean
need
by
to rate
The
it.
review
Yes.
I wouldn't
Involve
even want it
the
from you.
bringing
I want it from
into
the former
of
president
stakeholders.
himself.
Okay, I get
Yes.
you.
We
but
know
please
the
hold on a second.
challenges.
Yes.
Look, Raymond,
Yes.
chairman knows. Look, the education sector
What I know is that
is bedeviled with several challenges.
what I know is that the free SHS is giving us very positive feedback.
Nobody has
effects.
said that free SHS is
Yes,
bad.
so that's what I know.
What we are talking about is to fix the challenges
And
and
we
to
are fixing
ensure
them.
that we don't only produce numbers,
Okay.
but we produce quality in the numbers. But to be honest with you, the way the current government and the president goes about this discourse, it's becoming very clear that they see it more as a policy to show up their political vote. Because, I mean,
You can
why,
call it, you
why
can give
would
it
you
any
say
name.
How is
You
it
can
that
give
in
it,
that
you
same
can describe it
context,
in any
yes,
context.
that
If
because
you-
of this, the NDC will never come to power? I mean, what is the correlation between implementing a policy? In that case, Nkrumah should never have lost. What didn't he do? I mean, various presidents have done a lot
In
for
fairness,
this.
Nkrumah never lost. He was
yes.
removed.
Well,
Nkrumah
yeah,
never lost any
given,
election.
given that.
Yes.
But the point I'm trying to make is that
Okay.
this is a policy that is generated out of the Constitution.
Okay.
We, as said, a gradualist approach. We started. You came in, you have gone for the full hog. There are challenges. We are saying we will put together a consultative forum to assess
look at how
it,
to deal with the challenge.
evaluate it, and let's deal with the challenges
And we have done it already.
towards making it more effective and
No.
to meet the needs
You know,
What is this?
for which it has come.
What is
into
the
existence.
position
So,
of the
what is the
NDC
issue?
on the double track system?
The double track system
Yes.
is not helpful.
no, Raymond.
It is creating
Raymond.
Please hold on a second. for me.
challenges
Yes.
for the teachers, the students, and the parents. I am not saying it. even government admits. That is why government has announced, although inconsistently, a policy of working towards eliminating it. One day you would hear that in 7 years' time,
you see,
another day you would hear that
I'll come
in
to
5 years'
Can
time.
you make a point? Yes.
Then you hear the GES board chair saying that by September this year, at least 350 schools would have been weaned off the double track system. If it was not a challenge, if it didn't have a negative impact on teaching and learning, why would they be planning about eliminating it?
Honorable.
So do I have the chance?
Yes, please talk.
You see, free SHS, as we all know, has come to stay.
Okay.
For any new policy, if you begin to implement it, you have challenges.
Okay.
And you have to resolve the challenges. Now, the core function of, or the core objective of the free SHS system was to ensure that we gave access to every student who qualified to go to the SHS level. And ever since we implemented it, from 2017 to this time, we all can attest that we have had an enrollment increase of 43% from 2017 to 2019.
Yeah.
Going forward, when we add 2019 to 2020, of course, it will increase again. Now.
And that's why we introduced double track.
Yes.
Because we didn't plan and expect an enrollment increase.
Yes. We have implemented a policy.
When you made the financial element of it, which was a barrier to some people, when you removed it, automatically it was to be expected.
When we remove what?
When you remove the financial barrier, which was a problem to many people,
yes,
automatically you were expected that people would be on board.
Yes.
So the numbers would increase.
Yes.
So did this government think of double track as something that was automatically going to happen?
Why not? It was an afterthought.
Come on. Why do you say so?
Chairman,
Why do you say so? Is double track a new thing? Is double track a new thing in the whole world? Is double track a new thing in the whole world? Don't we have systems outside where people have admissions both in September and in January, February? Probably you schooled outside. I only had a chance of schooling about 3 months in Israel.
Okay.
3 times in a year, Israel, the universities there admit people. It's not the same thing. So one is in school, one goes out, and other students also go back to school. And they make use of the same furniture, the same classroom, the same lighting system.
There are double track systems at the SHS level.
You can call it any name.
In Israel too?
Well, I'm talking about the tertiary level.
Okay.
But you
know this is education on the SHS level, yes.
It's the same thing. And so as soon as we thought about implementing free SHS, we knew what it was going to do.
Okay.
We knew that, of course, there will be increase in enrollment.
And our alternative plan was double track from the beginning?
Yes, straight away.
I see.
Why not? We planned it.
Are there challenges with the double track?
Yes, there are. A few of them. Sometimes some of the students do not even know where they belong to. And there's been constant training to them. You belong to the gold track, you belong to the green track, and consistently we have to tell them how the timetable is. You see, he talked about overcrowding in schools now. There is nothing like overcrowding in school now because of the double tracking system.
Really?
Yes, there's nothing like that in the secondary school system now.
Okay.
It's been taken out because of the double track system. Because at all times, if a school can take, say, 2,500, because of the double track system, no school takes more than 2,000 at a time. So there's not a lot overcrowding in the schools now. In fact, there's more space. Yes,
all
now,
schools.
All the schools running double track system. Yes, so for the schools that are not running the double track system,
it's possible.
It is not, because we will not put more people in those schools.
I see.
Yes, because you pick the student from there and add them to the schools that are doing double track.
So what's the plan to deal with the challenges of double track?
Infrastructure. Double track, to me, could have been allowed to stay if we don't have the money to build infrastructure. But now, many people are talking about it. So the solution is to build more infrastructure. And exactly so,
what happened to the outstanding Mahama e-blocks?
We are still completing them. They completed only 23. They completed only 23 by the end of 2016.
Even the education ministry.
And we have done about 35 now.
Oh, you have done 35 now?
And it's being used. Teachers hired and posted there. Since 2017, we have hired more than 20,000 teachers.
I see.
What is he talking about? What do you call it? Non-availability of teachers. We have hired about 20,000 teachers, and they are available teaching. And so somebody teaches the green track, he rests, takes the leave, and then somebody also comes in, then another teacher goes to teach. And that's what we are doing.
When do we hope to complete
all
of these e-blocks? When do we hope to complete all of these e-blocks?
Well, usually government never has money to complete everything at all times. And so consistently we are doing that. I think that like I said, I don't have my figures here when you called me.
I get you. But
yes.
the double track, are we ever going to get rid of it?
Yes, we give ourselves 7 years.
7 years?
Yes. And this is the first year. And so within this first year, a given number of schools have been weaned off from double track.
How many are we looking at in this case?
Well, I think number of schools, they are still compiling the figures.
Okay.
They are still looking at, you see, the exams have been done, and they are looking at the number of students who are qualified. And so if we get to know the placement, that is when they'll come out with schools that were left out.
I'll come back to talk to you about sustainably funding as free SHS.
Yes.
But Doc, if we didn't do double track, what would have been the alternative? If the NDC is supposed to
be on the road, people will still be on the road selling blockchain.
Can you let him answer the question, please?
It's not about selling or not selling blockchain.
Yes.
It is about studying the issue, planning appropriately to ensure that you implement it. Remember, as we speak now, have you seen a document outlining how the double track system or even the free senior high school policy itself is supposed to be implemented?
Well, I'm not.
No, I'm asking you.
Not me.
I have not
seen. I've asked
for.
You know,
we have asked for this.
The best I saw was a presentation of a sort. Yes.
That all tells you the ad hoc manner in which this thing was done. And look, the MPP and my colleague here can deny as much as they want. This whole issue of introducing the double track system was ad hoc.
Okay.
It was only introduced to deal with the fallout.
Okay.
Because the policy
was set in 2012.
We can debate that.
We had opportunity in 2017.
Show me a document. Show me the evidence that this was part of the original thought process.
The question I'm asking you is that going into 2020,
yes,
by September this year, we have almost 1 million or more students who are on this free SHS program.
That's correct.
If the NDC wins 2020, would it continue with a double track or cancel it?
What we know is that the double track system is unhelpful. And that is why we began by putting in place the needed infrastructure to avoid this.
So
like it or not,
yes,
they have come,
they
have initiated the process, and we are seeing the fallout. But that is exactly why there is the need for the stakeholders forum. You don't impose.
Okay, so a stakeholder forum will decide what to do with the double track.
Voila! What is the way forward? But in any case, it all has to do with infrastructure, as you said, which is the argument that we made from the onset.
And that's what the 200 schools were saying.
Exactly, which is the argument that we made on the onset. And indeed, even with this that we are talking about, it has been progressive. When it started, it wasn't wholesale. It is only this academic year that we are going to have the full complement of Form 1.
You mean it started with the first year?
Yes, of course.
So even their so-called claim of a one-time implementation didn't work.
Okay.
And double track also.
No, we never said that. We said
you did.
No. Doc, don't say that. No, we never said we're going to start wholesale this.
I think viewers
it started with first year students. Not the second and third years.
But you were in your promise. You didn't say that you were going to start with the first year students and then work progressively.
The university in Nabrungo, in your area.
Said that.
The Nabrungo University. I mean, are they going to start? Are they going to start straight away with all the first to fourth year students? But I'm asking you a question.
But that was not what you told Ghanaians.
Sorry.
No, we didn't say that.
We didn't say that you were going to implement a free senior high school policy. No. You didn't say you were going to begin.
I have a final question before we conclude on this conversation.
But you let me finish.
Very briefly, because I need to ask about...
For us,
yes,
and as the former president has said, the consultation is key.
Okay.
Because depending on who you speak to, whether parents, teachers, heads of institutions who have been muscled, and they cannot express their views.
Listen to the statement very well and the tone. What is suggest?
Because they will be dismissed. You know, and other Ghanaians, we need to have this dialogue so that we can see the way forward.
Okay.
He has admitted that one of the principal challenges which has occasioned, or if you like, precipitated the introduction of the double track system has to do with infrastructure. Right?
And what is happening? Are we not doing the infrastructure?
You are doing, but you are very slow. He knows it.
Why is it slow?
It was only last month, you know, that the Ministry of Finance released monies to Gov't. But out of the $1.5 billion that Parliament approved, giving Gov't the authority to go and borrow, up until last month, only 500 million had been released to Gov't. This is what is happening.
Does it mean that we did not start putting up the infrastructure?
Gentlemen,
that's where they are.
No,
When
so people have completed the buildings, and we have the money now to pay, and we are paying.
Do we have money to sustainably fund this free SHS and all of these other elements?
Yes.
Honorable Quaid?
Yes, we do. That's what the president says. He says even if he doesn't do anything, and after the end of his second term, if he goes away, and people will, of course, say that it is Nana Akufo-Addo.
Second term. He should keep dreaming.
Okay, no, hold on.
Please
so,
don't.
But is it?
But he says we are dreaming, we will never come back. So he should also keep dreaming.
So hold on.
Look,
so
he's going to
looking
do it.
into the future.
Yes. Look.
What are the alternatives we are looking at? We are still going to reserve the ABFA part and chunk it into there, or take money from other ends and use it to promote this, because the expenditure is going to increase by the year.
Yes. I mean, at the end of this year, we will know the exact amount of money that
Very
we need,
good.
because we're going to do the third year.
So what are the plans ahead of that?
We are going to fund
alternative sources.
Alternative sources? Why? We had the oil is ours. We are see more oil.
But there are other priority areas that oil money goes into. Free SHS cannot be the blood of Jesus to wash away all issues.
And that is his priority. If you say that is his priority and going to use all the money in there, what's the problem? That's the president's priority. Because you see, the main challenge that we have in this country is based on the fact that we don't have much of the populace being educated. That's the main challenge. Yes, that was the key challenge.
Okay, I see.
Yes. Don't throw this refuse down. Don't throw this refuse here, and it is boldly written there. The person doesn't read.
And by education, you mean secondary school education?
He premised his argument on this debate, based on education.
There's a question, last one.
And so,
are we sure that current free SHS we are delivering has any element of quality, so that we don't just push people out there?
Yes, there are 5 key pillars.
Yes.
5 key pillars, and quality is one of them. Access, quality, expansion, and
what specifically has been done in the area of quality?
Contact hours has been increased. Better food for the students. Go and find out.
Better food?
Yes.
I see.
Better food. Go and find out.
I see.
They now eat egg. They have cocoa and everything.
Which school is that?
I ate egg too, but I don't know.
Which school?
Yes.
Oh, apart.
No, name a school.
Business schools.
All
schools in my constituency. All schools in my
constituency. They have cocoa as
please.
They eat
cocoa drinks.
I'm the chairman of buffer stock. We know the food item that has been given to buffer stock to have people to supply. And egg and all things, the fish and everything is inclusive.
I see.
They supply and it's being paid. Why do you say it's not there? So cocoa, everything.
Not in my constituency.
So the quality is...
No, I'm serious.
No.
Okay. All right. So it's
everybody gets.
They're not supplying to your constituency.
Not as far as I know.
No.
But you see,
find out.
Okay. Find out what's judgment.
I would argue with this point.
Yeah.
1.4 billion or more, right? You have asked about sources of funding.
Yes.
You have talked about the oil.
Yeah.
The oil is our collective property.
Yes.
Yeah.
The way
and so
the MVP narrates it as though it is coming from the pocket of the president. But
it's national resource.
Even so,
yeah. National resource.
We have to look at, as you said, alternative ways. And there are many. And we make references to the ESLA that we brought in to deal with the energy sector, legacy debts and all of that, which they condemned, and now they have come to increase it. So we have to look at very creative ways of finding a sustainable source of funding for the free senior high school policy. That is my opinion. But I think that all of these would come up. But you see, when he talks about feeding and all of that, you see, I have this report. The free senior high school absorbed fees for the second semester for 2018-2019 academic year.
Which
has not been paid.
Which reports?
I'm telling you.
Which reports?
Ask not.
The honorable
the subsidies of the subsidies of 20, 30 and 30 cedis, 80 pesos per student per term for SHS students for the whole of 2018-2019 academic year has not been paid. The absorbed fees for day students for the entire 2018-2019 academic year, the fee of 75 cedis per student per term has not been paid. Boarding grants for the SHS students who have completed under the Northern Scholarship for the whole of 2018-2019 academic year.
Sorry,
this is not true.
What's the source of this?
This is my research.
What is the source?
And I'm challenging him. I am challenging the ministry.
That is not true.
Your chairman says it's not true.
I put it on record that it is not true.
I am in contact with CHAS.
Yes.
They know this. They are suffering excruciatingly.
Dr.Apaak,
and they are afraid to speak because if they do,
and I'm telling you that it is not true.
Thank you so much.
It is not true.
You dispute all of these things.
Yes, it is not true. Yes,
you dispute all of them.
Provide alternative information.
It is not true.
CHAS.
Gentlemen,
I am saying that
I am very appreciative of your time here in the studios, and I thank you so much for coming. Now, the chairman of the Education Committee and the deputy ranking member were my guests on UPfront today. Folks, that's where we end today's edition of UPfront. Thank you so much once again.
But I want to say that next time invite me early.
I agree with you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Chairman feels that he has been ambushed.
Yeah.